Alright, so...
Hey guys, what is up? The Hill Twins are here, back at it again with another video. Today we have Anthony, fresh off of his win, finished grand finals facing Eon Hill, and went to game 3, and he won a God Rare. Real quick, this was hosted by Collectors Emporium and Christopher Esposito. You guys were supposed to show out and have a chance to win, and you know, it's a very credible event. So now Anthony, let's just, what's up, man?
I feel pretty good.
I know you do.
Shout out to Eon though. I mean, we played twice, both games super close, went to game 3.
Right.
I did not have a lot of matches today that went to game 3.
Right, 100%.
So, most games were ending on turn 2,
right,
and whether I went first or second. So
right,
every one of our games decided about like 5 to 10K combo power.
Right, 100%. Okay. So we got what did you play?
So I played set 6 Gogeta. Now. We're not going to look at this leader though, because David Andrusano makes the most fire all-star leaders you're ever going to see in your life. So we're just going to put that in the frame. But this leader got some sneak support in Anniversary Box. So they made Anniversary Box support for the set 11 Gogeta leader, which uses this Z battle card. So I'll start with this card, because this is kind of where it all starts at. This Z battle card, you play it for 2 energy, 1 Z. He's able to play an 8-drop Gogeta, which allows you to play this one. Get a little bit more into this later, but the idea here is you play this on turn 2, you get a triple strike dual attack that can turn into the Broly secret. So when we talk about like what's ridiculous in this deck, this is your goal. You do this on turn 2. You play him, you combo a card so you can play him, you go into him, and then you go into him. Now, how does that happen? You're probably sitting there going, well, you're never going to see the secret rare, but the whole deck is built around filtering for the secret rare. So we'll start to get into it. So first we'll go over the leader. If you don't know the leader, activate main, pitch a Goku or Vegeta BR from your hand, draw 2 cards, take 1 life, or take up to 1 life. Very important, you have to be able to awaken on turn 2 if you want this deck to go off. Turn 3 is fine, but it's better when it happens on turn 2. The awaken is untap 1, draw 1. You only need the 1 energy. On the backside, he's completely ridiculous. So when he swings, he draws a card. He has this activate battle where you pitch a red card from your hand, and if you've got 2 Goku or Vegeta BRs each in your drop, he gives him 5k, double strike, and turns off 2 cost counters or more for the rest of the turn. That turns off blocker negates. That turns off beast negates in the new Vegeta. It turns off a lot of really good negates, turns off a lot of free counter plays that would get people through the turns. Right. So you can play this, or you can play the set 11 one. The set 11 one does not have this kind of utility. This one has all the things the set 11 one does, but it's way more consistent. So, with the leader out of the way for a sec. So again, main combination is these 2, or these 3 cards really. But as far as the cards in the deck, we're gonna go 4 critical combination. You have to play 4 critical combination. This is the most important card in the deck as far as doing damage, facilitating everything. He's very easy to see because he's actually searchable in a lot of ways. So you play 4, but it's really more like you play 20 of them because you can pull him back and see him very, very easily. Obviously, Broly's secret rare is your secret rare because he plays off of it. There's only about 4 cards that Broly can play off of. This is the soonest you can play any of them in any deck. If you don't know what Broly's secret rare does, basically says discard the card that's got 35k power. Your leader gets 10k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Broly's a 40k double strike with barrier, and he negs all of your opponent's battle cards by 5k, their leader by 5k, and their combo power by 5k. The combo power is where it gets crazy. Your opponent can have a 15-card hand, and if they're all 5ks, they're useless. Your opponent uses super combos, and they become 5ks. It makes it almost impossible to climb up over any kind of damage. Not to mention your leader has turned off a lot of counters, and your leader's now a 30k double strike. So these 2 cards alone are almost 4 guaranteed damage, on top of the 2 triple strike 35ks you just laid down. So it's very aggressive. It does this on turn 2. It does it very consistently on turn 2. Now to get there, there's a lot of things you have to do. So first you need to play a pretty heavy package of Goku and Vegeta BR cards. So going over the Gokus first, we have 8 targets. Waiting for them to get a lot of noise in the background.
Hey! We're recording.
A little quiet. So the first Goku, prepping for fusion. He's not great. He's 1 energy. You play him. He searches top 3 for a Vegeta or a Veku BR. Sometimes you'll play him. He comes back to hand at the end of the turn, but generally you're just pitching him. He's fusion fodder. Goku Godly Aura is the engine of the deck. Without this card, the deck doesn't work. This card, when you fuse with him, lets you take a life. This is how you make it so you can awaken your leader on turn 2. If you see one of these and just 2 fusion pieces, you're guaranteed to be at 4 life, which is the most important thing you can do for yourself. So, next we have Vegeta targets. We have 11 Vegeta targets. There's kind of a reason for that. So, 3 Vegeta prepping for fusion, 4 Vegeta Godly Aura, 4 Vegeta prepping for battle. Now, the prepping for fusions are actually much better than the Goku ones. We only play 3 just because of deck space, but this searches top 3 for a Goku or a Veku. This will search out your Godly Auras. Really, really, really important. You have to see this card. So, Godly Aura Vegeta lets you search top 7 for any Gogeta when you fuse with him, so he finds him. Really important. The problem with Vegeta Godly Aura is he will shuffle your deck. We're going to get into this in a minute, but a lot of cards bottom deck cards when they search. So we'll get into that towards the end of the video, but you don't really want to shuffle your deck throughout the game. So you use this when you absolutely have to go find a Gogeta. You don't need 4 of him, by the way. It could probably be a 2 or 3 of. So, and then prepping for battle is maybe the most ridiculous interactions in the game, in the deck rather, get caused off of that. So prepping for battle is just another fusion material, but you can pitch him from hand for free, and he will pick up a Gogeta or a Veku from the drops. So by doing that, if your critical combination drops, you can just bring him back. There's also another interaction I'll get to in a minute with a Gogeta BR card that is completely broken, shouldn't be allowed, and lets you just keep cycling cards. So these are your fusion targets. I play 19 of them total. I had 1 game all day where I didn't see fusion targets by turn 2, so very consistent. So next, what do you fuse into? 4 Fat Veku, 4 Skinny Veku, 4 Gogeta Time for Payback. So Fat Veku's amazing. He attacks battle cards in active mode. He's a 15k. You get the Broly secret rare on the field, and this is like getting a free 20k that your opponent can't combo out of. He also lets you pop him, and when you pop him, then you take back your fusion materials from the drop, and you can take back any fusion materials. So even if you pitched materials that aren't great, you can pull back the materials that are really good that you do want, like Godly Aura. So, Veku the Fragile, the skinny one, he's also good, not quite as good as the Fat Veku, but basically he's a 10k instead of a 15. Instead of attacking battle cards in active mode, when you pop him, he negs something 10k. Gets rid of blocker negates or small guys on the field, or after you drop the Broly secret rare, sometimes it just pops something that you just need to get rid of to survive another turn. So he's really good too. We run 4 of each because you have to see these cards. You have to be able to fuse so you can get yourself down to 4 life. So, and then Time for Payback is the card that has a really broken interaction with this card. So when you play Time for Payback, you draw a card. If you use Godly Aura, you take a life as well. So you very rarely neg off of this card, but it continues to filter through the deck. Now he has Unique and Blocker, but you can get around Unique. You play him, you combo him off, and you pull him back with this Vegeta. And then if you have more fusion materials in your hand, you can keep playing these and keep drawing, which helps you cycle through the deck. You will, when sequenced properly, cycle through all but about 7 cards in your deck, and he's one of the biggest reasons. So don't sleep on him just because he's not going to like swing. You can also swing with him after you get the Broly secret rare down, and he's basically a 14k that your opponent can't combo on. So it's pretty good, and again, he's free. These are all free fusions. This game does not have a lot of free play anymore. It's really, really nice to be able to just play things for free, not have to use energy. Next up, we have the different parts of the engine that search. So 2 Kales and 2 Kai judges.
That's what we care about.
3 of them.
3 Kais and a vanilla.
Somebody didn't send me the 4th one for some reason. But so these cards search, and they search almost anything. Kale, when you play, search top 3 for any Red Saiyan. He's a Red Saiyan, so broken. He can pull the secret. She can pull the secret rare. Kai, when you overwhelm her, searches top 3 for any battle card, secret rare, super combos, fusion fodder, anything. Another one of her if you need. She's also a 15k swing for free, which again is free. The Unison being a Unison swing is also nice, but you usually just play this on turn 1 if you have it, search top 3, and pull something. You don't always play her, kind of like the prepping for fusions. This guy and this guy. These are like your turn 1 plays. But if you don't play them, if you don't see them, that's kind of fine. It's just more filter. What's important really here is that when they search top 3, they don't shuffle after. They put them to the bottom of the deck.
So you get to stack your deck
Right.
and get the other cards, get to see the other cards that haven't been seen.
Exactly.
Versus
So
randomizing it.
your deck might have 25 cards in it, but you've bottom decked 12 of those. So it's only 13 cards left. At that point, you're talking
Super combos are really huge.
right, a couple super combos, and you're at 80-90% chance of seeing the big guy. So, and you see everything else in the deck for sure because they're all 4-outs for the most part. So again, Kai, absolutely important. If you start building this deck, you're probably going to go, oh, I should play Trunks Time Regulator because he lets me draw 2 and warp 1. No. See more cards. It doesn't matter how many cards are in your hand, you need to see more cards. Because your
extra card.
Broly makes half of your opponent's hand dead, and the other half is probably extra cards that are dead anyway because they have no energy. So, and again, this deck kills you on turn 2, whether you're going first or second. So you're talking, you will die with 1 energy up. I did it 8 times today, where I killed somebody on 1 energy.
And it's really easy to summon the Kai because the unawakened leader discards.
Right. So just to add the synergy there, leader discards, and when you fuse, you get materials in the drop. You want to keep your Gokus and Vegetas in the drop sometimes, but when you pop these, they also go to the drop. They don't really have any purpose from the drop, so you can get Kai turn 1, even going first with no swings, pretty easily. Doesn't always happen, but you almost always get it turn 2, turn 3. Usually drop a Kai every turn from turn 2 on. And if you see one turn 1, I don't think I've ever played one turn 1 and not seen the secret rare in the game. So, next up, super combos, 4 Raditz. This is obvious, mandatory, whatever the word would be. You're filtering through the deck. There's no other secret rare to play. Don't even consider another one. The filter, even if he was a 5k super combo, he'd still be better than every other super combo in the game for this deck. For defense, you play 1 imposing and 1 testing. There's a lot of things you can do here. You can play violent raise if you need to. Sometimes 2 testing is important. The deck doesn't play defense though. You play defense when you didn't see your cards. Unfortunately, we have to play 50 cards, so you have to fill some cards out. So if you could play the deck at 40, we would obviously cut these and not play them, but it's not a thing. So, and then 2 Mai. Reason for Mai is because blue is really the only deck that can beat you head to head right away. D-Magic hurts. Dirty Burst, not that this does anything about it, but Dirty Burst hurts. D-Magic obviously gets shut down by this. She's a good turn 1 play. You have energy on turn 1 to do pretty much anything you want. So her even just being a draw is nice. I've drawn Secret Rare off of her before. So that is the main deck. And then we'll go over the Z deck real quick, although the Z deck's kind of not that important. You need 1 of these. If you have 1 of these, you can win any game on turn 2. But you play more than 1 because you play more than 1 Gogeta, they might get killed. So just to go over this card real quick. It has Deflect. It's a 2 cost for 1 Z energy. Deflect and it can't be KO'd. There are so few cards in the game that can kill this card. And you can also just kind of go straight into the 8-drop most of the time. So the chances of your opponent killing this off the board without you letting it happen are very, 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 very rare. It has an activate main where if your leader is a Gogeta, so you do have to be awakened. That's why awakening is so important in the deck. That's when you go 1 energy and you can play the 8-drop from hand on top of him in active mode. Also important because this guy can swing first and then go into that, just generating more value and more swings. So.
She just gave me the heebie-jeebies. That just literally gave me the heebie-jeebies.
It's ridiculous. There should be a restriction on this, and I'm gonna say this now while doing this deck profile. This deck shouldn't be allowed. This should be you have to have 3 energy. Your opponent has to have 3 energy. You should have to have 4 energy. Some kind of restriction here, because I don't think Bandai realized that you're dropping this on turn 2 and going straight into this guy every single game. This is, even if you don't see the secret rare, you'll kill people off this. You'll hit a 90k swing and just kill people with that second swing very, very easily. So
that's 6 damage on turn 2.
Exactly. On top of
leader's 8. Well, that's
leader's
8.
A double. You also swung this guy. You swing a Kai. You swing some Vekus. You swing Broly Secret Rare. You can do 18 damage on turn 2, going first. So in the rest of the Z deck, I've got 2 Defender of Life, 1 Rush Attack. Look, this isn't what you would play. This doesn't matter. You'd probably play 1 of each of these if I had all the cards that I needed. I only have 3 of these. You'd play 4, obviously. Vegeta Surmounting the Impossible is okay to play in the deck. If you get no other turn 1 play, it can help you cycle and grab a life if needed. I only had 1. My brother was playing. He needed it more for Sin, so I let him have it. I never missed it. I never wanted it. Actually, that's a lie. I had 1 game where it would have been helpful. Defender of Life, Rush Attack, they're whatever. They're just there. I did have a game where I played Rush Attack and then I lost because of it. So I mean,
Same against you.
and then in the side, go over the side really quick. So a couple more negates, testing and violent raise, kind of obvious. Another violent raise, so we run 2 there.
Yeah, you should have said to me before the event, like, yo, hey, you should probably put another violent raise.
I've run, so I never sided any of these in, and the sideboard really doesn't matter much with the deck. There's a couple cards in here that are important, but I ran the 3 different counter plays you can run. You're always at 4 life, but you kind of never have the energy if you don't play a multi. Time Bullet and Peel Off Missile only work if your leader's away, if you have a unison on the field and you play a 1-cost unison that doesn't gain markers. So these are very unlikely to come into play, but you don't want to get topoed some games. You don't want to get reposted. There's answers if you need it, just in case some decks are really defensive and can get through it. 2 Mai. This is the most important card in the sideboard. If you side nothing else, side 4 Mai, 2 Mai, however more Mai you need to form the deck. I played against Android 16 today, and that did save me. I would have lost to Android 16 if I didn't see Mai every single game. So, Strategies of U7 is another card that's really good for this deck because it can help protect your 8-drop Gogeta. I actually had a game where I got 2 Gogetas on the board at the same time because I had this. Then I dropped the Broly Secret Rare, and then they're facing 35k triple strike dual attacks that they can't combo on. So this is broken in certain scenarios, but it's kind of rare to need it.
Right.
And extra cards can't be comboed with. They're dead cards and handle a lot. So some other cards. Broly Crown, never sided it in. You're not trying to get your opponent to go to 2-3 energy open. It's just not supposed to happen. So Nimbus Voyager, I put this in for Slug. If I played against Yellow and they played Yellow Slug, he's the easiest out to that. You have to draw for a lot of effects, so Slug can kind of screw you up. He's good against that, but I didn't play Slug. I did lose once today to a Yellow deck. It was Trunks Vegeta. He didn't play Slug, but Frieza's Death Ball, never sided it in. This would be kind of crazy in some matchups that go longer because it's a plus 25, but again, big matchups don't go long enough for a team.
I had 3 of those as well.
Max Power for Yellow Sin, didn't run into it obviously, we didn't have it here, but Yellow Sin does shut this deck down completely, especially if they go first, so being able to get rid of the 9-drop is really important.
Who did I say that I was
None.
Koi, didn't side him in, but more filter, prevents certain floodgates. Again, didn't side him in, but he's not terrible. Strength through Survival. This card's crazy. If you don't know what it does, if your leader card's
can't block. Oh, sorry, guy.
You pay 1 red, draw a card, your opponent can't block one of your chosen cards. So they play a bunch of blockers, like you play against Bulma, you lay this down, after you lay this down, it's probably turn 3 or 4 because it's Bulma. They can't block. So what are they going to do? They're just going to take the damage and die. So, but again, didn't side it in today because we didn't really run in any decks like that. I'd maybe side this in against Hatch if I was playing against Hatch, didn't get to play against Hatch.
I never played any blockers. It was just all negates. 1-drop negates.
So that's it. That's the deck. Again, filter is the goal with the deck. It is not I hope I see my secret rare. It's I should see my secret rare. So, and
Okay,
yeah.
well, thank you, Anthony, for the amazing deck profile and the very in-depth deck profile. And yeah, wow, that looks amazing. Congratulations on your win. And like always, guys, stay super.